18 years ago, a dispute arose in a wealthy man's home.
I'm Emily Kempson and I'm the director of The Dispute. The Dispute is a play about a question which is who was the first to be unfaithful in love, men or women. The story goes that 4 babies were taken at birth and were placed in a house or a space that was built especially for them, where they've been kept for 18 years and they've never seen another human face in that whole time. They've been cared for by a woman called Carice, and today is the day that they are going to be released, and they will see another human face for the first time, they'll tell a lie for the first time, and they'll fall in love for the first time, and during this day we'll find out who is the first to be unfaithful in love, men or women. The play was written in 1744 and it's a slightly wonky play. It's an odd play. In some ways, I think for a long time people thought it didn't work. I think it was called Slight, and it was more of a kind of philosophical conceit than a play. I kind of think that might be partly because at the time, in the 18th century, the actors were quite restricted in how much they could express sexual desire and things like that. And I think now that we're able to express those kinds of things a bit more freely in the theatre, I think this play's really come into its own. And I think that might be why it's a much more popular play now than it was then. It feels a very kind of contemporary and fresh play, actually, considering it was written in 1744. I think that's because although it's within this slightly kind of odd, wonky, like science fiction world, the situations that these young people find themselves in are situations that are very easy to relate to, like the feeling of wanting to be with someone every second when you first meet them. There's a real joy in watching these teenagers have these new experiences for the first time. So that's part of the pleasure, I think, in the play for me. I always knew that I wanted to cast 4 really young, exceptional actors. So a couple of the cast I knew before. I had met Chris Luke-Hoy when we both worked together during a season at the RSC, and Rollo Skinner I'd met whilst we were both training actually at Arts Ed. And Georgia and Gabby I had never met before, and I think I'm really excited by the cast that we've assembled. They've worked fantastically together and they've been a pleasure to work with over the last few weeks.